All right, we're going to talk about Gog and Magog. All right, this is why we're picking up where we left off. All right, Gog in the Bible, a hostile power ruled by Satan that will manifest itself before the end of the world. It says Revelation chapter 20. In the biblical passage in Revelation and in other Christian and Jewish apocalyptic literature, Gog is joined by a second force called Magog. But elsewhere in Ezekiel 38, Genesis 10:2, Magog is apparently the place of Gog's origin. An independent legend of Gog and Magog surrounds two colossal wooden effigies in the Guildhall, London. They are thought to represent survivors of a race of giants destroyed by Brutus the Trojan, the legendary founder of London, called Troia Nova, or New Troy, and brought there to act as porters at the gate of the royal palace. The effigies of Gog and Magog have existed in London, England, from the time of Henry V. The first figures were destroyed in the Great Fire of 1666 AD, and were replaced on 1708. The second pair was destroyed in an air raid in 1940 and again replaced in 1953. So in the legends told by the medieval historian Geoffrey of Monmouth, Gog-Magog or Gog-Magog was a giant chieftain of Cornwall who was slain by Brutus's companion Quirinius. So the origin of Gog and Magog, this is legendary. They say the New Troy, the Trojan War. So we got to look at what all of the Greek writers wrote about their history. This is what they believe. So our sources is in the Iliad and in Homer. I want you to look at the historical dates. Okay. This is the Iliad. So they're the legendary people of the Trojan War that the Greeks tell you. And this is what you're going to learn anywhere in Europe. This is what they always tell you. But here's the sources. The date and the textual history. The Homeric question and the historicity of the Iliad, which is the Trojan War. It says, the poem dates to the archaic period of classical antiquity. Scholarly consensus mostly place it in the 8th century BC, although some favor a 7th century date. Herodotus placed Homer at approximately 400 years before his own time, which is the circa at 850 BC. The historical backdrop of the poem is the time of the Bronze Age collapse in the early 12th century BC. Homer is thus separated from his subject matter by about 400 years, the period known as the Greek Dark Ages. So the Greeks don't know anything about the history of this event right here. They have a mythological belief about it. So if it was the 12th century before Christ, you got to look at the annals of the kings of Egypt again. 12th century is Dynasty 20, 1192 through 1075 BC. That's the time of Ramesses. 19th dynasty, 1304 to 1192 BC. 12th century will be in the time of who? Ramesses II, they have 1290 to 1223. Merneptah, 1223 to 1211. Amenemhotep, 1211 to 1206. Seti the second, 1206 to 1201. Merneptah Ramses Siptah, 1201 to 1194. Tarsert, and then that's interregnum with Ursu, 1194 to 1192. That means the government came to an abrupt end. And then another dynasty proceeded over the land. So this goes right back into the land of Egypt again. All right. And also the Odyssey. It says in 2008, they were trying to dating the Odyssey. They're trying to give us the historical date. It's obscure to the Europeans. They don't know about it. They don't know exactly when it happened. But somebody knows. I'm talking to you right now. I obviously know something about this, okay? So dating the Odyssey, scientists Marcello O. Magnasco and Constantino Becousis at Rockefeller University used clues in the text and astronomical data to attempt to pinpoint the time of the Odyssey's return from his journey after the Trojan War. The first clue is Odysseus' sighting of Venus just before dawn as he arrives on Ithaca. The second is a new moon on the night before the massacre of the suitors. The final clue is a total eclipse falling over Ithaca around noon, when Penelope's suitors sits down for the noon meal. The seer Theoclymenus, Theoclymenus approaches the suitors and foretells their deaths, saying, the sun has been obliterated from the sky, and an unlucky darkness invades the world. So this is the dark ages of the Greeks. The Greeks don't believe in the god of the sun. They wanted to obliterate the sun. They wanted to destroy the sun god and the sunlight. And that's why they were put in the dark ages in Greece. So they don't know nothing about this period. So an unlucky darkness invades the world. The problem with this is that the eclipse is only seen by Theoclymenus, and the suitors toss him out, calling him mad. No one else sees the sky darken, and it is therefore not actually described as an eclipse within the story, merely a vision by Theoclymenus. The Dr. Becousis and Magnasco state that the odds that purely fictional references to these phenomena are so hard to satisfy simultaneously will coincide by accident with the only eclipse of the century or minute. They conclude that these three astronomical references cohere to the sense that the astronomical phenomena pinpoint the date of 16 April 1178 BC as the most likely date of the Odyssey's return. So let's look at the annals Kings list. 1178 BC will be in the reign of who? On the Egyptian Kings list. Dynasty 20, during the reign of Ramesses III, 1190 through 1158 BC. 20th dynasty, Ramesses III. Okay. That's for the Odyssey. It's returned after the Trojan War. Okay. The dating places the destruction of Troy 10 years before 1188 BC, which is close to the dated destruction of Troy the seventh. The seventh Troy, circa 1190 BC. During the reign of who? 1190, 1188 BC. Seknakati, 20th dynasty. Ramesses III, 1190, they said 1188 BC. That's the time of Ramesses III. Okay. When this Greek-Trojan War was supposedly had been taking place, it was the dark ages of the Greeks. They know nothing about this story. But I'm going to give you the origin of this story right now.